The President made these statements while inaugurating the Gampha District Secretariat Administrative Complex. The President mentioned that the deposits of more than 50 million bank depositors will remain unaffected and there will be no changes to the current interest rates paid on bank deposits. President Ranil Wickremesinghe also announced that proposals for restructuring both foreign and domestic debt will be presented to the Cabinet tomorrow. At the same time, the Speaker issued an extraordinary gazette at the request of the Prime Minister summoning Parliament to meet on Saturday, the 1st of July.
මේ වර්ෂයේ අවසන් විට समस्त विदेश न्याय प्रमाणे
The total external debt of the country by the end of the year would be 41,000 million US dollars. Due to the fluctuation of the rupee, the domestic debt of the country is 42,000 million US dollars. Domestic debt is greater than external debt. We need to source dollars to service the debt and also need to source rupees. Money has become an issue due to these factors. The only part we can undertake is to restructure the debt. If we can go ahead without restructuring the debt, by 2035, our debt burden will be at 100% over our GDP. The only option we have is to secure support to restructure the debt. Are we to pay the debt as it is or to get it reduced with assistance? Those are the two questions that we have to answer to reach a decision. We need to select one option. We cannot resort to old politics. External creditors have given their consent to assist us. They told us to reduce the external and domestic debt burden. There is no point in only restructuring domestic debt as we cannot source foreign funds in the absence of local funds. We need to have local funds in hand to source the foreign funds. We are seeking relief to the tune of 17,000 million US dollars in the next 5 years from our external creditors. We are looking for a reduction of 17,000 million US dollars from 41,000 million US dollars. We are also looking for relief from the domestic creditors. If not, we cannot go ahead with the program. What are we to do with 17,000 million US dollars if we do not have the rupees? So, we will restructure both external and domestic debt. The proposal is being prepared and I discussed this with the President. It will be presented to the Cabinet on Wednesday and we will inform the ruling faction and all the party leaders. I want to proceed by bringing all the parties together. This will be given to the Committee on Public Finance on Friday. I have informed it to the Chairman as well and it will be passed during the weekend. During this period, banks are on holiday. Some are looking at making a quick buck by making various assumptions. We will return to normalcy on Tuesday without any issue. The restructuring of domestic debt will not pose any threat to the stability of the country's banking system, whether it be public or private banks. If there will be an impact, I will announce it. Earlier I said that taxes need to be raised and other measures need to be taken. Some will simply yell and move on. Such incidents will not happen here. There will be no changes to the current interest rates paid on bank deposits. When we reduce inflation, the rates can drop. That is something separate. The restructuring of domestic debt will have no impact on the membership balance of any public funds, including the Employees Provident Fund. The rate of return for superannuation funds will not be affected in any way. The proposed debt restructuring plan has been designed with the primary objective of safeguarding the public's bank deposits as well as protecting the depositors of all banks regulated by the central bank. If funds are required from the banks, I will inform them. But there is no such requirement. Banks can open, funds can be sent from overseas and the other transactions can take place. All this can take place during this period and all these matters will be informed in due course. Some want to go to court against us. I do not understand why. Why are they trying to stop us from rising up the bankruptcy? The old political ways of yelling and going to court will not suit. Only Parliament has the power in this matter. The judiciary is separate. The judiciary also does not like these conflicts. The power lies with the Parliament in this matter as per the Constitution. We will pass it accordingly and implement the program.
අධිකරණ බලයක් තියෙන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු බලයක් තියෙන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට. ඒ නිසා ඒ නීති අනුව අපි සම්මත කරලා ක්‍රියා කරනවා.
A press conference was called by the Ceylon Bank Employees Unions stating that the government should announce the domestic restructuring plan immediately.
The domestic restructuring process is not a recommendation of the International Monetary Fund. A new word for restructuring will be optimization, which the government is now trying to go into. What happens here is that the government will take loans from the people and agencies and say that they had taken such loans for government sovereign bonds and treasury bills. Now if these treasury bills and bonds are being restructured, there are only three ways. The first is the option of changing the face value. The government and the central bank can extend the maturity period. The CBSL pays a certain interest in this regard. There is a chance that a part of this interest can be slashed. These are the three methods that can be used during debt restructuring. There has been no official comment with regards to the method that is to be followed. Please tell the general public what the government is attempting to do.
The main opposition party, Samagi Jana Balawegaya, also made remarks in this regard.
I have been in parliament for 30 to 35 years. However, in whatever the circumstance, I have not seen in my experience parliament being convened on a Sunday. What is the speciality in this regard? What is the government trying to hide? They are attempting to trick the government and the parliament. Until he announced so in France, nobody knew that parliament would convene this Sunday. This is a lockdown. The question is, why is this done under a lockdown? Why the urgency? They say the IMF has not told us to restructure domestic debt. They have not even made such a request. Why does the government want to incite such urgency? If a parliament that does not have the franchise of the people wants to get their way, they must lock down the country. Just like what happened when J.R. Jayawardena signed the Indo-Lanka agreement. The entire country was under a curfew when he did so.
The Freedom People's Congress also made comments in this regard.
The debt restructuring is done by the executive. Because they want the port tour to be involved as well, the executive is putting this out to parliament as well. The port tour will be told to follow and they will do so. The total debt of the country is $83.6 billion. Central government debt is estimated at $76.9 billion. From the loans that the government has taken, 53% is foreign debt. However, 42% is local debt. This has now turned into a Pandora's box where we do not know what would happen when this comes out. The government that used to address the nation on a daily basis has now taken a vow of silence.